Mm-hmm.
It's not over yet until the election.
And I've heard about more people like that. I know someone who knows who committed suicide or overdosed on drugs, partly related to the lockdown. And I'm hearing a lot more of that than casualties related to COVID.
Yeah.
People are to shut down the economy and put a lot of people in lifestyles that lead to depression is like more bad than good to help save 0.02% of people. And anyways, like look how Cuomo handled it in New York with bless you. Bless you. He brought in COVID patients because the hospitals were overfilling. He brought them into retirement homes, and you wonder why New York's death rate was so high, because he brought people with COVID in front of a bunch of immunocompromised individuals.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to go off what you guys are saying too, just the statistics alone, like somebody, just because like the statistics show that they died from it doesn't necessarily mean like they already could have been dying from cancer and all that shit. But if they had fucking COVID at the time, then they mark that as like a fucking statistic for COVID, which I think is pretty fucking whack.
They get more money for it. Hospitals bring in more money. So
and at the end of the day, like to answer your question, like that's all that any of this is ever going to be about.
Money.
Yeah.
And so I have a theory. The whole mask mandate, and I've talked to some people who are like engineers and like photography technology, and I came up with this. Like something along the lines of, what if this whole mask mandate is like a test run for facial identification from security cameras far away to catch like shoplifters or, for example, like Antifa radicals who like loot stores. Like,
dude,
now you see your face, you're on the watch
can you
list.
Like explain what the fuck Antifa is?
It's short for anti-fascist. And they are fascist. Or, well, actually, no. They press their communist ideas with fascism.
By... ¿Tú hablo español? ¿Tú hablo inglés? What are you saying?
Expand. The communists and fascism, I think that's what...
Basically, they believe in destroying the nuclear family, so mother, husband, kids...
this is communism.
It's a way to... force individuals to rely solely on the government. They're also, what's it? Let me see. Let me think about this.
Here's our turn.
Or we'll explain what what is it? Fascism?
Fascism?
Yeah.
So like the pushing of ideas like in an ultra nationalist sense, and berating, like basically lack of free speech. People aren't allowed to express their opinions.
So Antifa
is all like in the name of against fascism, because
against freedom of speech.
They basically kind of like how they'll call conservatives Nazis. Well, they'll call what's it? Capitalism fascism. So the idea that a company's main responsibility is to their shareholders, because they're incurring most of the risk by investing their thousands of dollars into it, compared to employees who are on the receiving end of it. Yes, they deserve to be treated with respect and dignity, but in the end, they're not the ones that are throwing their own money into it. They're working to get their own money. So the whole worker-owned thing, you have to be really careful with it. Like, there's some co-ops that work amazing. Like, I think Trader Joe's is one. Winco is another one.
Shout out Winco.
Oh, yeah. But in general, it's a very scary line to walk on with this whole wealth redistribution, because equality of outcome is not true equality. That'd be like saying someone who is born into poverty but has like workhorse work ethic becomes a doctor and they get paid the same as someone who's born into a rich household, fucked off, and now works a McDonald's job. Like, basically, the people that, like,
I mean, that was me for a while.
In America's...
You worked at Donnie's?
America's healthcare system is fucked up. They'll incur all sorts of debts. It's almost like buying a new car.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's
get money.
bullshit. Yeah, and it's like, oh, you're paying with cash? Well, here's another fee. Here's another $1,000 state fee. They'll just come up with fees. Here's the paperwork submission fee. Like
administrative fee. They're like, man.
Also, you could throw your money away for free with a small fee.
Exactly. No, they'll do that same thing with the healthcare system, but the idea that you can, like the whole universal healthcare system, a lot of people try to use Canada as an example. I talked to Canadians and their experiences with the healthcare system, like one of them, he broke his wrist and he went to the ER. He was waiting for 8 hours before he got help.
Mm.
And
It's tough. I mean, to even just come up with a solution is definitely more complicated than it seems, you know.
it really is. And
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's why I like my simple life and I don't have to worry about that.
Simple stride, baby.
And that's the thing with all that stuff. It's like, it's stressful, but you can't do almost anything about it.
Yeah.
Like, it's...
Well, that's the problem, man. It has become so complicated to even just like walk across the fucking street. Like, you damn near need a certification to fucking piss nowadays. It's fucking crazy.
Basically.
It's stupid.
Did you hear about the new California bill that was passed? Basically to let rapists out of prison.
Cause the Rona? Or
it didn't have any relation to that, and it was basically about if the assailant is 10 years or less older than the victim, it's up to the judge's discretion to decide whether or not they're innocent or guilty, even in a normal rape case, not like a statutory or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
But I mean, even with that though, like we still, even if they take that away, the rapists, and take them out, we still have more people incarcerated than everybody in the whole world. In one country.
oh yeah.
but it's again, it's a business, man.
Yeah,
It's
like,
privately owned fucking.
Thank you.
That's it, man.
All
That's it.
All that money going to the offshore accounts.
You know.
They're continuously building them. Like why are you continuously trying to incarcerate people? Like I was talking to Jay. I'm like, for real, like why do we have the funding of police to be so large? Like from the second, like it's probably almost 300 million I should say, difference. It's like, why do we have all of that over our own people? You know what I mean? Like I would understand like we're putting a lot of that money towards like military and stuff like that. Okay, cool. Like, world power, we're gonna have to have those people, but to do it on our own people and to kick people on the curb and to kill them and do all this other shit, like, what is it for? What?
And you look at Baltimore, Detroit, like, if I swear they could look like night and day if all the rest of the country donated like maybe $3.5 million.
Well, they're stealing money.
To their, huh?
The U.S. is taking money from us. Have you heard about the no change thing?
Here we go. Fucking elaborate. I don't think anybody yeah.
Oh, you want to know something? Black Lives Matter, if you go on their website and you see where all the funds are directed to, it goes to actblue.org. You see the people who are receiving all of that money, $135 billion to be exact. It's Joe Biden, Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders not helping any black people. It's helping a bunch of rich white liberals who are just bending to communism.
Something to think about.
The no change thing, man. Grocery stores are not holding the change. I heard from my brother, and they're like, "What do you want to do with the change?" And the
You're not
cashier
able to
was
get
like,
your own change?
No, it's either like you could put it back on a card if you want it, but they don't carry change. And most people would be just like, I don't want a card, I don't want to sign up for it, take it, right? That's 50 cents, that's 90 cents, 60, whatever, from every single person.
Got
You know how much
thousands
money
of
that
people.
is?
Yeah, thousands of people every day. Yeah.
It's insane. I didn't
You can
know
buy a
that.
content with that shit.
Yeah. I didn't know that the no change was
And they don't even know where it's going to.
That's why they're doing like you gotta have a card or exact change now, on a lot of places. Yeah.
I didn't know that you can't get your change though.
They just don't carry the change, and people you will
They're saying like the
find
reserve
whatever.
is short or some shit like that.
What reserve?
Federal Reserve,
Exactly.
Yeah,
where
exactly.
they print money or make
Short
coins.
BS.
Shit, man.
My thing is, it's like they literally come out with all these. Okay, like they literally.
Ron about to get
tell
pissed
us,
off, man.
Because they literally give us these shows and all this other shit that hints at us never having cash anymore and us having card and swiping and electronic shit, and then everybody's like, why are they doing this? Like, what the fuck you think they're doing? Like they're already setting the shit up. They've already told you. You're just being dumb and being like, I don't think this is ever gonna happen.
Yeah, it's kind of like I think we were watching something. It's like they present an idea to you that it like kind of seems crazy to make you like not when it's actually happened, not think it's like so fucking crazy, like kind of make you immune to shit. You know?
So you're like,
They
okay,
sugarcoat
well,
it.
that's
They
just
sugarcoat
that's
Dude,
just a
I watched
show.
that reminded me Social Dilemma on Netflix.
I gotta watch that.
And it's so ironic because it's the top 10 in like the country right now as far as like a fucking the movie like on the app or whatever. Yeah, everybody needs to watch that. Yeah.
You see, now it's gonna play kind of like
Everybody needs to watch that and just put your fucking phone down. That's really what
I
it
have a
comes down
lot
to.
of anime to finish before I start
Oh,
watching.
shit. Now we got this fucking guy watching anime and shit.
And he's exactly one of the ones that later
Is
on are
the
going to be
problem?
like, I didn't know that. Why did they? Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to know.
Hey man,
look,
you got three people preaching to you right now. He ain't trying to hear it, man. He don't got headphones on, man.
Look, prime example. Kurt.
He don't.
Prime example. Kurt.
Kurt?
Yeah, prime example.
Sharon.
Oh, Sharon, yeah.
Just saying, prime example.
Yeah. I don't know.
Hey, I don't know. I don't know what
I don't know what's
he's
going
worried.
on with that, but
Random tangent. Have any of you heard of or tried DMT?
I I heard about it. Yeah, I know what it does. It's like dying, right?
It's yeah, it's the
so
it's the
extreme.
chemical released in your brain when you die. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's like
you're
dying.
right.
Is it really?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, that's when you die.
Well, inin DMT is the one that's released. There's two forms of it, inin and 5-MeO. And one inin is called the God molecule. 5-MeO is called the spirit molecule, and they're basically just different flavors of the trip.
Why can't you just naturally just like release it? You know,
Because you only release it in
Just dig deep.
In
It's
such small quantities.
It's science, man.
It's something that's released mainly only in lucid dreams and near-death circumstances.
That's why it's crazy because like so many people are just like, oh my god, I hate acid. I hate acid. So it's the enzyme that's already in your fucking head. It's just being reproduced even more. That's all it is.
I mean, there's like a wild thing that people believe that like it's like blood dripping down your spine and shit like that. People like it's just crazy. There's crazy shit going on.
Yeah.
Well, the thing with all those, like humans are better off with less substances to ingest, but like for opioids, we have receptors for those. Cannabis, we have receptors for those. Benzos, receptors for those. And they're very specific. They only work for that kind of molecule, and our brains are somehow designed with that kind of complexity to work with all of this. But what's crazy is the different kinds of effects that it can have, varying among individuals, and it's generally traumatic. At least DMT trips.
You're supposed to have a bad one. I thought.
Yeah,
You're supposed to have at least one bad one.
Well, yeah, it shows you your demons, and like it's definitely a psychedelic that I'd recommend you'd start with, like shrooms, because you'll learn what thought loops are.
I don't know. I'm pretty messed up here, man. I don't really want to.
Well,
honestly, it might it might straighten him out for real.
That's what I was gonna say, because like 90% of the population is just like him in the fucking I already fucking this happened to me. Oh, I already got like negative thoughts. Like I just go down and fucking like no. It's just if you're fucking positive, it's positive.
I'm positive.
What the fuck? Like if you go into something like
You
thinking
gotta
that something bad's gonna happen, something bad's gonna happen. It's fucking common sense, man.
You kind of gotta have it in the back of your mind, though. Like I was like the first time I did it, I dabbed it. So I heated it up and took like a big raindrop size, and I dabbed it, and I started to heat up the second time, and just kaleidoscope vision started happening, and it felt like I was falling, and then I take the second hit, and then I start hearing like female whispering, and I look into the bushes, and I see like a monkey-sized praying mantis with orange eyes peek out at me. And I look up at the stars, and I see a UFO.
Holy shit.
And the whole time I'm feeling like I'm someone's giving me a hug. Like, it's weird. It's the most divine experience you could have off of a substance.
But
Divine, I love it.
Like, it's supposed to tell you something, though. That's supposed to be telling you something, like, supposedly.
Well, I mean, that's the cool thing about all this shit, really.
If you're atheist, it'll make you agnostic. If you're a Christian that's not fully convinced, it'll fully convince you. I'm Christian. I always go about it like very scientifically, like trying to like just prove or disprove
figure it out.
Yeah. And along that path, DMT like cured me of all doubts.
And it's crazy though, because it's like, you know, just with like acid, shrooms, all that too, like just like focusing on something, you can literally like think about other perspectives and stuff like that, to where like now you kind of like, oh shit, like that fucking makes sense. Like
it takes you out of your body, it brings you back in, it makes you realize you're just a speck on this planet.
Exactly.
Like a lot of people say, like it made me feel like I am everyone and everyone's me. Like it's such a stereotypical thing to say, but it does connect you with the general comfort of knowing that you're not alone. Your situation, you have things to be thankful for. There are people that are suffering that are in similar situations as you with a better attitude. So it's all about how you look at it. Happiness is a choice.
Preach 'em.
Those were just some things that were like shining in my head. When
it's just like everything just start firing.
Oh yeah, neurons going crazy.
Oh,
I love it.
Well, were you gonna say something?
Oh, you said you're gonna try it.
No.
Yeah, we're gonna get something.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
gonna all go.
We're on the way right now.
We're gonna have some shrooms.
Doesn't show up on a piss test, does it?
Nah.
What's a pit? What? A what?
Urine test, like a drug panel, 25
What?
screen test.
What? A piss test?
I don't think it's in your system though.
Yeah, no. Half-life for shrooms is like a week.
Yeah, this is our guy right here, man.
Yeah,
He
it's
knows.
not
He
the
knows.
I think weed.
Oh,
Talking about like half-lives and shit.
Like weed is the longest.
Yeah.
And it's the least detrimental, I feel like.
Exactly.
I mean,
And
don't
that's
quote
what
me.
I was gonna
Don't
say.
quote me.
You're right. You're right.
That's what I was gonna say to you. Say earlier about your question. It's because America can't control it.
Yep. And the other thing
they
is,
feel like they can control it in California, but Murder Mountain showed that they can't control it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So they're like, shit, what the fuck were we supposed to do? Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, oh, well, most of the states would just still make it illegal. Like, nah.
And
you make it illegal.
Do like Portugal and just be like, y'all get fucked up. That's when you record. If you
That's
die,
how it should
you
be,
die.
man. Yeah.
It's like
That's your choice. You're a grown ass.
You go too hard. You go too hard, man. It's your time to go. You know?
Yeah, like you're a grown ass individual. Like
Why you babysitting grown?
Yeah, like if I want to smoke peyote, let me smoke peyote.
exactly. Government needs to stay out.
It's like
Well,
the
I
cookie
mean,
jar.
it's
If I want some Quaaludes,
like
give
the
me some
cookie jar.
Quaaludes.
Yeah,
You know
You tell
what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, but why
have a good night.
that pissed me off because why they stopped like producing them or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like
I forget. He says
it's
it in the movie.
fucking
They're just so easy to abuse, but just like Xanax, just like
yeah,
Ambien.
just like it.
Yeah. They just make it in a smaller form so that
But-
they could stretch it out so that you are now addicted to it longer.
But
You know what I mean?
about the weed thing, like then if they legalize it, then who they gonna put in the prison? You know what I'm saying? That's probably the biggest thing.
Yeah, they're gonna actually
So-
have to do some fucking work.
Yeah, and
find
then
these
and then the
murderers.
people, if they legalize it, are like, what are they gonna do with the people who are in prison now for weed charges? You know, I guess.
They're gonna be kind of.
Then you got a whole fucking country
just like
just
the
flipped
rapists.
upside down, man.
Yeah,
No.
basically.
That's it.
And but it's crazy though. It's because like, what are they gonna make the focal, the like honestly, the war on
The new-
drugs.
It'll be
wouldn't
fentanyl.
really-
It's fentanyl right now.
Yeah,
That's
the
that's what
fentanyl
the
and
war
coke,
is on.
yeah. But it's like, you know, the whole main war on drugs is basically like the whole weed in Mexico bringing it over here and all that other shit. And so then the cocaine hit, then they made it even more of a big issue.
The weed in Mexico should have stayed, man. That shit's trash.
I know.
So.
But they can get it for cheaper, so that's why.
Yeah,
it's kinda like,
but don't
you know
be
what I
bringing
mean?
that trash over here. Nobody wants it.
But look, we know that now. But look, on the East Coast, shit, they don't know that shit. Like the shit that we smoke here all day that is good, I can take over there and I can upcharge ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like they get
That's true.
$5 little brick weed. Like,
Hey, can we make weed steaks? Like, I want to get high off of eating a steak. I think that.
Yeah.
you can make a butter out of it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's what I was about to
sounds
say.
freaking-
Butter based that steak.
But how are you? I mean,
I wouldn't want to do it.
You wouldn't want to eat a weed steak?
No, I just like you high. I just wouldn't want to
Oh,
do it. I
me?
thought that's what he was saying.
that's what I was saying.
You guys seen me high, haven't you?
I don't remember.
I don't know. Yeah. Maybe, but
I got high a couple times producing music with Eric. I
Yeah,
think
you
you
were-
were around.
you were
with
kinda-
G. G was over.
Yeah, you were.
oh
Kurt.
yeah, I
you
probably
were
wasn't.
Kurt.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I
Probably
was
wasn't
laughing
you.
my ass off in the kitchen.
That's that's probably all it would be.
Yeah.
Just look at this fucking video. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Honestly, like I remember like first starting off smoking and stuff like that. That was the experience. And then now it's like, you know, it's one of those things where it's like I can function and I can do shit like smoking and shit like that. So it just makes.
I feel like it
everyday
takes a lot of
tasks-
time to get to that point, though. You know,
A lot of smoking. It does take a lot of smoking.
and a lot of people can't make it to that point. You know?
I feel like as a gymnast, it really sobered me up to using weed. Like I was always very clear-headed for the most part with weed. I said for the most part. Nowadays, no, I've kind of lost some of my brain cells from acid. But
Look.
Oh, I lose more brain cells with smoking weed. Like I'll be in the middle of a conversation, forget what I'm talking about, and talk about something completely different.
Yeah, you were
Yeah.
on a
kills
tangent.
your
Yeah.
short-term memory.
You did that earlier.
Oh.
Something else with the DMT is like you look at the pharmaceutical lobbyists that are paying politicians to not enact laws that prevent doctors from overprescribing opiates and benzos. Because like you prescribe a patient, let's say 30 oxy 30 perk 30s. That's 1 month. By the time they finish that, they'll be 50% more likely to be physically dependent on that substance. You go 2 months and they're tenfold more likely. And I believe it's like just a little higher on benzos. Like that's why in my opinion benzos and alcohol are by far the worst drugs ever.
Oh, yeah.
Worse than heroin, because at least with heroin you can go off cold turkey. You'll feel like you're dying, but you won't actually be dying.
That's
Benzos
crazy
and
if you
alcohol.
say
benzos and alcohol, people die all the time from going cold turkey off of a regular doctor prescribed dose, which is sad.
Holy
Yeah,
shit.
that's crazy.
Oh,
But that also brings you back to kind of to the weed thing. Like, you know, they don't want to like make it legal and shit like that. But what is actually gonna happen is like if they do make it legal, do you know how many ailments and stuff like that it's gonna help cure or stop by smoking weed, and people are not gonna need those opiates and stuff like that. And the opiates are funding who? The government.
If I get cancer, I'm gonna smoke weed. A lot of weed.
But and that's what usually happens.
Like, I even talked to my dad about it. He's a firefighter, and he was telling me, like, and I'm honest with him, like, I tried those fentanyl cut dirty perks, and then I literally used heroin to get off of them. And I was talking to my dad about that, and he's like, yeah, no, at this point, like, I can understand it with, like, children or, like, elderly people accidentally, like, taking one too many, but with these people taking these fake perks, sometimes I wish they'd just die, because he runs on the same people every other day, every 2 days, and they go right back to it. And that's why, like, you go down to Sonora, you have shamans that will get you some 5-MeO DMT. They'll, like, supervise your experience, focus you to, like, journal it, keep track of your experience with it, and it's meant to pull people off of hard drug use. So
that could be another benefit to it.
So like a big
legalizing.
Exactly, like a big epidemic in Central America is meth right now, and that's what DMT is being used for mainly down there.
Well, I mean,
Didn't they legalized shrooms somewhere too recently?
Denver.
Yeah.
It was in Washington too, I believe. Washington State, I believe.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah. I thought there was like a couple. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Washington. Damn, you said something that I was about to reply to.
It was about DMT.
So I was just like curious as to like, you know, like some of like the roughest cities and stuff like that. And honestly, like if you actually go, you know, the top 5 are in Mexico.
Yep.
Like as the worst, like you can't really go anywhere because the
Mexico's
cartels are so huge.
Juarez.
But it's so crazy to where it's like that's one of the countries to where like they do have an abundance of resources to be able to like make money and stuff like that. But they're so corrupt from the government down to the citizens to where it's like you never know who's going to be paid off. Like the country's
Cartel pays government.
The country's always going to be in turmoil for the most part with, you know,
By choice.
By choice. Yeah.
Kind of like China too. Like China is probably like at least 3 times at least 3 times old as the United States and still called a developing nation. So like NATO, the United States paid $138 billion into it. Like I think in 2016.
But didn't it collapse at one point though?
I believe when the U.S.
Dynasty?
when Trump removed the U.S. from NATO because China was just taking advantage of it. They paid in like $38 billion to, no, I think it was 33 to the U.S., 138 billion, and China calls themselves a developing country. And
I'm just curious, like, so does somebody write a check for like 38 mil? Like, does anybody think about how these like transactions take place? You know, you just call up fucking Sharon and she just
it's just
I'll send it.
It's a treasury.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
in products like you'll get like labor land plots of land. It's cheaper out there. It's a communist society. Like
it's fucked.
You have a lot of American businesses that'll go out there to make their products, or for example, all the wind turbines pretty much are made in China, and each of those are $2 million a piece. So, and like Joe Biden, he's trying to implement, I believe, adding 60,000 new wind turbines. So let's see.
Shout out Joe. You voting for Joe?
Trump 2020. So 60,000 wind turbines times 2 million is 120 million.
Yeah.
And how much were the walls supposed to have been built that we were probably going to pay for anyways? How much was that going to be?
I believe 130
So-
billion. Yeah,
Wind turbines.
No, I think it's million.
Turbines to power the country. A wall to keep out people that would help the economy and has helped the economy. Like,
What do we know? You know?
look, just looking like that, like just looking in that perspective.
No, there's a lot of people who have contributed like innumerable like amounts to the economy who have come from Mexico and had to wait a while before they were legal citizens with visas. But to think about
that's
this
a problem
way,
with America, though.
Isn't it unfair to all of the other people who are living outside the U.S. who are trying to get their visas the legal way for Mexicans to come across the border and do it that way? I mean, if I were in that position, I'd do the same
Columbus
thing.
and all them people come over from British?
Oh,
They
he's
came
a
over.
rapist pillager.
Oh,
he didn't
Okay,
discover shit.
but they still came over here and
About to get everybody
coming
fired
from
up, man.
British, coming from Britain because of the taxes and stuff. So they came over here to escape. It's kind of like all those people dying in Mexico. They're coming to look for pilgrimage here. So why is it bad for them to do it, but it's okay for all them other people to do it that built America?
I mean,
Like, it just
America, it's just
If you look
It's
at
contradicting, bro. Like,
it's the pot calling the kettle black. That's
no,
literally.
it is ridiculous, and you're calling it out. But if you look at the other side of it, what are they asking for? Oh no, let's just build a fence.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same idea. It's just like wind turbines, and you're talking about what money you're putting like that energy stuff towards.
But isn't the biggest thing that they talk about as far as like coming down to like presidential elections is energy? Energy is the biggest bill.
I would say
It's like one of the biggest bills. Like they're always talk about energy. Every election they re-talk about energy. Energy is the one, like the way of the world. That's coal. That's sun power. That's all. Like all the resources, damn near. That's all energy.
I think probably the biggest concern with energy is less about what kind of energy, at least when you're talking economically. If you're talking environmentally, of course you're going to have scientists that say, yeah, we need more renewable energy. But like, do you know what fracking is?
I think I've
like
heard of
with
it,
water and shit.
So-
I've heard of it.
Basically, fracking is a less invasive form of oil drilling where they basically dig a deep and small, super deep, but small in diameter hole into the ground. They pump it full of chemicals that distill this oil, and then they pull it back out. Mm-hmm. Joe Biden's... So actually, in Pennsylvania, I think Rhode Island too, fracking is the main source of income for all residents of those states. Joe Biden's trying to take away fracking, which will probably take away power for like half of New York. And if you look at the power that's actually produced by these wind turbines in comparison to, let's say, nuclear energy, which in my opinion, I think politicians are really overlooking nuclear energy. Like, they need to be like
On it about that shit.
Instead of wasting all their money on wind turbines or all this stuff, get into nuclear energy. It's got the least amount of trash stuff, pollutants that's let out, and with the most power too. The biggest
But
issue.
what is powering the nuclear stuff though?
Huh?
What's powering the nuclear plants?
So it works by basically taking they usually use uranium. Sometimes they'll use plutonium. They have like these. They probably weigh like.
But hold on, and isn't plutonium something that you can use in bombs? and stuff?
Exactly. It's super radioactive because what they do is they take like these 50-kilogram blocks.
Chernobyl?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
Yeah, no. You know what? Yeah.
So, I think
The
Ron.
Russian thing.
I think Ron just walked you into a trap. I think
No,
that's
I
what
know
just
it's
happened.
nuclear waste man. They're an example of someone who did it wrong. No, I know what he's saying.
Okay.
Yeah, no, you look there.
I
and
just
you see
didn't
like
want you to,
fucking
like,
wolves
over-
with 5 eyes and shit.
Well, I was just making sure I didn't want you to overlook
Thanks.
what
Thank
I
you.
could.
I thought he like knew, so I was kind of like.
So you're trying to make a point that
That Chernobyl was one of those things that happened.
yeah, but you're trying to make a point that fucking
That was a
using
while
not
ago.
that not using nuclear energy is the better way to go.
No, not necessarily.
what you were-
It's the better way, but there's an example of a place that can't even have people within a radius because of this explosion going off and stuff like that. Like, yeah, it's I guess it's more risk and reward. I would say in a sense. You know what I mean?
No.
Because like, what if they put it in like outside like Phoenix or something?
They don't do that. That's why they only put it in.
I'm just saying that just as far as like as far as like the mass that it can take. So like it can be in the middle of Phoenix and then get like the whole city of Phoenix can be engulfed to where like all that radius no one can be in contact with or anything like that. Now that's affecting other places. You know what I mean? Like just in
home
the
price, like home prices, they would never do
no,
that.
no,
in
no,
like
I'm not
an
saying
urban-
like home price. I'm just thinking of Phoenix as an area, like just
Yeah.
how big Phoenix is. And so like
And if
that goes
something
off,
did that, yeah.
and it was that big of a radius, then it's one thing. Like even if we put it in the middle of nowhere, that's still a huge area that no one can go to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like the part of why nuclear plants are never in urban areas is one, like Chernobyl. Like if anything like that ever happened, which that happened way when
Way
like
back
nuclear energy was first being
Experimented with?
Yeah, implemented into big like energy projects.
So is it
What even?
so is it easier to get plutonium and stuff or something?
It's
like,
very expensive. That's the only downside to nuclear energy. It's probably about 75% as expensive as wind energy. So wind energy is still extremely expensive. Nuclear energy is a little less expensive, still extremely expensive. That's why we haven't gone full renewable.
I was about to say, because I know it's on the periodic table. I was about to say,
Should we be fucking with that shit? I don't know.
It's all about just controlled environment, control. But yeah, like it affects the quality of life. Like that's why like a lot of prisons, you don't see them being built around urban areas because they don't want it to affect real estate pricing. Having all of that, like for example, Con Air traffic through
I
there.
see what you're saying. Yeah, I can definitely see that. So my thing is, it's like, okay, we have all this money, right? We're putting it into like nuclear this and you know all of this and funding this and funding this. But why the hell don't we utilize that money to rebuild infrastructure? Because America is basically gonna fall into a damn sinkhole because we're building so much on top, but everything under the bottom is going to shit. So it's like, why don't we put money towards redoing a lot of that? Like New York would probably fall in. Like New York's ass.
I
You see
know.
what I'm saying?
Cheeks.
Like you have all these cities that they're not rebuilding
It's their
infrastructure.
mayor. It's their mayor. It's their piece of shit mayor.
But that's across the whole that's across the whole United States.
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
You go
You go to LA, you see
need.
needles every like 20 steps.
But it's like, the infrastructure is the biggest thing. Like that's holding your buildings up. So it's like we're trying to continue to build on top, but we're not. We
Worry
got
about the
pipes
bottom.
that's like 30 years old, 40 years old. Then you got to go down there and you fix one pipe. It's like no, go. You already got it open. Fix all them damn pipes. And
I mean, Ron. Think about it. Like, go.
Sorry.
No,
my
you're
bad. That's actually I've noticed a big fluctuation of instead of men going after college degrees, they go after trade school degrees. And if you look more into that, a lot of it is welding because a lot of men are going to work on pipeline expanding. Just an interesting. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, that's
but
cool.
where
No,
at though? What pipeline? What? Like,
Pipeline. So it's a job where you basically like
No, I'm
go.
talking about like where at? I know like they do like lay the pipelines, but
like last time I went up to Tucson, I saw them expanding out along like a new road that they had just built, doing some
so what
just
is it
electric.
like? What is it for though?
Electric.
I know. Isn't Phoenix huge in the water? So they have a pipeline to also help bring water into Phoenix or something like that.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So that's why I was curious. I didn't know if it was like oil, water, or whatever it was for the pipeline.
It's a lot of stuff. I think it's mainly water and electricity. As far I'm not even too sure on it, but yeah, no, it goes all over, and I think that's something that's playing a role in the expansion like that we're seeing. But just
but like we're
reform
like
with
we're expanding,
infrastructure.
but like we just not taking care of
Like,
it.
but yeah,
what do you say? The chicken?
don't put all the eggs in one basket. Like, but like when you talk about infrastructure, some of the things I think about, like prison reform, unemployment, opportunity zones. Those are all things that Trump did, and I like doing my research. I'm like, wow, like like every demographic unemployment was at its lowest before COVID hit. Opportunity zones like in Baltimore, Detroit. You can actually get government grants if you want to open up a business in there, and they'll help you get started. Just because they need business in those areas, they need to start the economy up again. But I'm sorry I interrupted you.
No, you're good. I mean, like, I was just gonna say, like, figuratively, like, if you're at the top, you're not worried about the bottom, you know, and that like figuratively and physically, you know, clearly. So like if this organization has money to just say fuck the bottom and just build more on top, like, then they're gonna, you know, and that's then it just goes back to money, man. That's all.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it's gonna cost more to start from the bottom and build up than it is just gonna to pile on.
But it's like when that building falls, you still gotta rebuild it anyway. So it's like,
fuck it. They're not worried about who's at the bottom, man. That's it.
like I said,
fuck it.
but
Like
I'm just
the middle
Like
class.
they're at the top, man. If like,
but it's crazy though.
Seriously.
Because it's like if we actually look at it, and when you look at the damn grid, like say if any city, like everybody's plumbing is connected. All that stuff's connected.
Fuck
when
it.
all that shit starts to fuck up, like say downtown fucks up and it's a big ass explosion, motherfuckers probably out here ain't gonna get no water for a while.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? Like we shit out of luck. And you got a well in the backyard.
yeah.
Like,
But the people who like cause the problem ain't worried about it.
Yeah,
Because they don't gotta worry about it. That's it.
But that's
They
what
look
I'm
at,
saying. Like, okay, that goes back to like I was saying about the bully. Like how we. I was talking to Jay and I was like, how do we have? We're like the world power and we're in debt. Who are we owing money to? Like
Trillions.
Like, but we owe to China. We're owing all these trillions of dollars to a developing country. What?
Developing.
It's crazy, man.
What?
My ass developing.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I feel like they kind of get away with the whole developing thing because of the fact of their lifestyle and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like,
It's-
yeah, they
They
have.
treat their middle class like shit. Like China.
I mean, that's the same thing in America.
yeah, same over here.
Oh yeah.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like it's the exact same thing. But it's I just feel like with them having like that long history or whatever, they have a lot of old ways. Like, you know, we have not a lot, but we have people that still have the wild west ways and stuff like that. You know.
Well,
But-
I mean, there's not really much like tradition and shit over here, you know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
as much as over in a country like that.
Yeah, that's true. Oh,
It's
I
more
meant to-
homogenous.
I meant to comment on something you said. So you said something about Trump did something for the prison reform and all that.
Prison reform, yeah.
And you said he brought more jobs to Baltimore.
Oh no! I'm just talking about opportunity zones, but, unemployment overall. I'm talking about all demographics, all minorities, women, all at its lowest for unemployment before COVID hit. But I don't know.
Well, just so, doesn't it take? Didn't they always say it basically takes like a president's first 4 years to basically like kind of pick up where the previous left off, right?
Yeah.
So somebody could say that that's Trump, who did and put all those things in place, or is that Trump who those things just kind of fell into his lap? You know
Like
what I'm saying?
you
And you can make arguments both ways. I'm not saying like right or wrong, but I'm just bringing another side to like look.
Of course,
at.
and if you look at the charts, they were already in the direction of less unemployment. The main issue though was just the amount of taxation. So, like the money that's pulled out for Medicaid, for Social Security, like since Trump got elected, and like if he gets this next term, our income taxes will probably be reduced by like 20%. I'm guessing. Mm-hmm. He said around. I think they said around like 25, but I don't know.
Yeah, and I don't really keep up with that shit. I not that I don't care, but just it's just like you don't know until you know, And then you got the Rona that's happening, and it's just like you really don't know. So
in politics, like in the end, with individuals, it's all on your own personal decisions. Politics plays such a small part in it, at least in this country.
Yeah.
I feel like it's more state.
I started watching House of Cards.
You did?
I'm on the 3rd episode, maybe I think second.
Hey,
episode.
Kevin Spacey, so cold.
Yeah. So I was just like fuck it, because I've tried like probably 3-4 times to watch it, and I was like this shit's going on,
And and the thing about it, it just plays into it to where like you can kind of like when you look at politics, you'd be like, damn, how did that motherfucker move up like that and move to there?
Yeah, like the second episode, he's already fucking on this dude, man. I think he might have even in the first episode.
Like you talking about the dude, the bald head dude?
Yeah, sending that dude to do some bullshit ass job, and then he's like, he's setting this dude up to take the fall. And the dude is just playing into it. He's like martyrs love swords or some shit like that. And he's like, if you sharpen it enough, they'll fall on it themselves and shit. And I was just like, Jesus, man. It was cool.
Yeah,
but that okay. Yeah. It just plays.
We could. Yeah.
It just plays into it, and that's one of the things too. It's like you literally have this one person, regardless of like what part of like the government or whatever they're in, they're playing so many different pieces because they all want to get to this prime position.
It's all about
what I mean. And
self-preservation.
Yeah. And it's crazy though. One thing I do hate with our government is Congress. Congress needs to fucking change. Like, how can you? What other job do you can get for the rest of your fucking life? And be like, oh, cool, I've been this bitch for 40 more years.
Chilling.
My picture gonna be like.
all like literally get on a salary, get paid your whole life to say, I propose free college. Step 1 on your college application. Write that you're Cherokee.
Yeah, right. And that's the crazy thing. Like they still have so much power to where like even the president come down, they be like, no, I don't like that bill going. Go about me veto.
Yeah.
Like
get out of here with that.
But then the crazy thing, like what about ours is like our Congress, like the people in Congress was born in like 1910. For
real. But they know what's going on, Ron. They grew up in this shit.
Like they didn't have cell phones back in that day. Like they were still on buggies, I believe.
Dude, that's the craziest part, man. I mean, it's just like it would just be like our parents and shit. Like you're alive, but you have no idea what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, like
you did not you are not like growing up and seeing all this shit. Like you literally have no idea what's going on. So
and it's just like a little speck. Like
it's
a speck of information.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like they're literally sitting back on this like say just even Bill Gates, just him being as big as he is. He can literally just sit in his office and the CDC will call him, telling him about that. You got government places actually calling this dude to tell him about what's going on.
Him and Bezos, Gates and Bezos are on that BS owning
crazy.
Washington Post and.
Well, you guys got any last words, man? This has been a pretty good one, man.
Shout out Duncan.
Pretty good one. Well, we'll have to get you back on, man.
Yeah, we definitely will.
you.
Shout out Duncan.
Oh yeah, that's our sponsor today. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I did have the last word, but I fucking can't remember what the fuck I was gonna say. So stay woke.
Stay safe.
Stay woke.
All right, man. We out. Al, you got the last word?
Chocolate cake with
Deuces.
Kool-Aid.
I'm good.
All right.